Hello, and thank you for joining us. This is the Miro Consulting webinar on Java licensing and subscriptions and audits. We're going to begin in about 1 minute. We're just going to give everyone a chance to log in. Again, thank you for joining us. This is the Miro Consulting webinar on Java licensing, subscriptions, and audits. We're going to begin in about 30 seconds. We're just going to give everyone a chance to log in. Thanks. All right, thank you for joining us. This is the Miro Consulting webinar on Java licensing, subscriptions, and audits. We are here to help you know the rules, identify the free versus the paid versions, and avoid failing an audit. My name is Sean Donahue. I am a Java licensing expert here at Miro Consulting. A little bit about us before we begin, so you understand who is giving you this information. We're a leading global provider software asset management and subscription management services for Oracle, Microsoft, IBM, Amazon Web Services, and Salesforce. We specialize in license management, audit advisory, negotiation tactics, support management, and cloud services. And effectively, what our ROI, our mission is to have you get the best ROI possible. We specialize in cost savings for all of these vendors. So if they are one of your biggest expenses and you'd like to reduce them somewhat, let us know. We do all of this without needing to install anything on your systems or anything like that. And in fact, working with us, there's no risk. We have a performance guarantee. That means we will find you the cost savings we uncover will be more than our fees. So you have nothing to lose, and no other software licensing organization makes that pledge because they can't, because they don't find as much as we do. So what are we going to cover today? We're going to cover the changes for Java licensing that have happened since 2023, and I will cover a little bit before that, just so you have the context for it. We're going to talk about the different Oracle subscriptions, the 4 fee releases and the free releases, and how to identify which is which. We're going to talk about the different agreements for Java, the different ways that you might get audited for Java, which is, of course, a sales inquiry. Some things about upgrading Java and how that can get you out of compliance. But most importantly, we're going to tell you about the big gotchas that are very likely to mess up whatever plan you might have for your Java subscription needs that you need to be aware of when you're making your planning. So stick around. So where are we now? So Oracle announced that Java was going to go from a free product to a product that required a subscription back in 2019. And it is continuing to audit large organizations, medium-sized organizations, things like that, for non-compliance. They know if you have it, and they know if you have a subscription for it. So if you have it, you haven't bought a subscription, it's a matter of when, not if, they will come knocking on your door, proverbially. We've assisted dozens of clients, probably up to 100 at this point, with their different Java licensing subscriptions. We can come in and sort of help you understand what you need, where you need it, and how to avoid failing an audit in the future. So before we begin, I'm just going to say, what is your plan for Java? We like to ask our people who attend the webinar here, are you looking to purchase a subscription? Do you plan on waiting and seeing? Do you plan on getting rid of all of your Java? What's the plan that you have before we get into this webinar? I always like to start off and see what my attendees' plans are at the beginning versus the end. And if you could answer, I was going to give it another 10 seconds or so. So if you're going to make a choice, please do so now. And if you give me an answer, I will share with you everyone else's answers after the webinar. All right. Thank you very much. So what is the new announcement? So in 2023, January, Oracle announced that they were going to change the way that Java is licensed at an organization. Previously, it had been by processor or by machine. It was based off of the technology. Now it's based off of the people. And Oracle's position is, if anyone uses Java at your organization, everyone needs a license. And when I say everyone, I mean absolutely everyone, even if they don't use it, even if they don't even use a computer. If you hire someone to sweep the floors, they need a Java license. And the way Oracle defines that is all your employees. And it's all of your full-time, part-time, temporary, all of your part-time, temporary employees, of your agents, contractors, outsourcers, consultants, pretty much everyone. If your dog could log in, your dog would probably need a license. I mean, he's already got a name. He's halfway to name user plus. But no, your dog does not need a license. But I say that because I want you to remember that part of it. It's not just your employees. It's your employees and people adjacent pretty much. So like I said, it's new employee per employee. And I've got the pricing there on the right. That's the price per month. You can see you get a bit of a price break as you have more and more employees. But if you do the math there, it can add up to millions of dollars for your organization, depending on how many employees you have. And like I said, you might also see another old metric called perpetual Java SE license. But the important point to remember is it is per employee now. So what happens if you already bought a Java subscription for your organization under the old metrics that were processor-based? Oracle's official position is you do not need to purchase additional licensing. You should be able to renew under the old metric. That is Oracle's official line. We have seen our clients get calls from Oracle sales reps, Java sales reps, who don't seem to know this. I don't think it's anything nefarious going on. I think they're just confused. And they've been given paperwork that says this is how Java's licensed, and then they see an existing client and they see you have the old licenses and they don't believe that you can renew. But according to Oracle, you can. Now, it doesn't mean they're not going to pressure you to renew under the new terms, but the official position is you can renew under the old terms. So if you purchased it under the old terms, you probably saved yourself a lot of money. So pat yourself on the back if you did. So let's talk about how do they even know you're using Java? And the answer is very simple. Java phones home. Again, nothing nefarious. This is just Java pinging its Oracle servers and saying, do you have an update for me? So if you have auto update on, it's going to, quote, call home. When it does, it will tell Oracle your IP address. Oracle will trace that IP address, and they will know that your organization is using Java. So it's not that complicated, but it's, like I said, there's nothing nefarious going on here. Oracle's not spying on you. And depending on how you have your settings, you can either have it might auto update itself if you left that feature on. So if you are looking to not have your Java call home, or you're looking to not have your Java auto update yourself, please contact us after the webinar. We can help you with that. So like I said, since January 2019, since April 2019, Java has been licensed. Now we're going to talk about which versions are and are not licensable. I want to address a few of the early old Java versions. So I don't have it on here, but technically people still have 4, I've been told. But Java 5, 6, and 7 still exist out there in the wild. They have been on sustaining support for a long time. Nobody's building anything new with it. But you might still have it. And those are licensable depending on the update version. And I'm going to give it to you. And by the way, if you're the kind of person like me who is screenshotting, trying to save every slide and keep a record of the information, you don't have to do that. I'm going to send you a guide after this webinar. It's going to include all the data you see here, so you don't have to take furious notes. I'm going to send it all to you. Java 8 is still out there as well, a bit more common than the others. It's an extended support. And again, depending that fees waived until 2030 is fees for support, not fees for licensing. I want to make sure that's clear. Java 8, again, is either free or licensable depending on which update you have, and I'm going to show you that. There's one called Java Web Start, which is just a version of Java 8, which again, 2030 is when that one goes out of support. So this is what I just mentioned. So if you have 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8, you can see here there is a last free version and a first paid version. And they do not always run sequentially. You'll notice with Java 6, the last free version is 45, the first paid version is 51. So if you have something in the middle, you probably don't. If you have something before that or after it, sometimes Oracle doesn't actually release a certain one. They build up and they just keep that number, and then they finally release 1, 5, or 6 down the line. So again, I will send you a guide that's going to have all of this, so you can go check your individual Java installations on your individual machines, servers, everywhere you got them, and look everywhere. Point of handheld devices, Java could be anywhere. You can take a look. If you know how to do that, you can see which version you have and look this up. And just to be clear here, I want to show, before I show the next chart, there's two different kinds of Java releases. There are the long-term support and the non-long-term support. And the important point there is, if you want something, if you're looking at it for a free version of Java, and you want something stable, you can get it installed at your organization, and you're going to be good for a few years. It's going to be supported. It's going to be safe. It's going to be secure. That's a long-term support version. If you are looking for all the latest bells and whistles and all the latest new things that Java will do, and you don't care about long-term support because you're iterating or something, you want the non-long-term support. But keep in mind, Oracle only supports those for 6 months before they move to the next short, term support one. So here's where it stands at the moment. So we are coming up very quickly on Java 17's end of free period. So we highlighted in red the long-term support versions for you. Notice that it does not, long-term support and free do not correlate. Some do and some don't. So right now, if you were looking for, if I was going to have something right now in all my work, my whole organization, and I want it to be free and I want it to be secure long-term support for Java, you're looking for Java 17. But that's not, doesn't have much time left. It's only going to be free up until September 2024, which is coming up on us fast. If you're looking for the newest version, you would want Java 21. It is free as of now, and that came around in September 2023 and is good until September 2028. In fact, it doesn't even leave extended support to 2031. So if you're looking at this saying, okay, well, I came here to find out which version of Java I need to install, stick around because there's some caveats that could still hit you in a gotcha, but you would want Java 21. So they're free, certain versions, but only if you don't use commercial features. So I'm not going to read them all off here. You can see them on the slide. The one that I want to, call out for you is the JR usage tracking. So people tend to use that to see where their organization is using Java. So think of this scenario. You use this tool as, the IT manager, whoever would do this. You use this JR usage manager to track and install the correct version of Java across your entire organization. You think you're perfectly in the clear. And what you don't realize is using that tracker negated your free version for your entire organization. So I told you I was going to tell you about some gotchas. That's one. So if you still have that installed and are using it, that's a commercial feature. And that would mean even if all your Java installs are the free versions, they're no longer free if you use these commercial features on even one install. So another important point when you're looking at this is, I'm going to go this real quickly. There are different levels of support. So the end of support for any Oracle product is called sustaining support. And essentially that just means that they're going to fix bugs. They're going to fix, security leaks, things like that. They're going to have different levels of commitment to helping you if you have some sort of issue. And you could say sustaining support, that's all they really cover. They're not going to build anything new. They're not going to fix minor problems. So basically, if it's once it's in sustaining support, you really want to sunset that usage of the product. All right, so let's talk about Java alternatives. So as you might imagine, when Java was first announced to be a commercial product, a lot of large organizations decided that, we're going to go make our own version of Java because we don't want to pay Oracle. So there's a bunch of them. So there's, OpenJDK from Microsoft, Pareto from AWS, IBM's got a version, Red Hat's got a version. Two of the ones we like are called Azul. They're called Core and Prime. They used to be called Zulu and Zing. But those are decent products if you're looking for you need something that has critical patch updates. And if you don't know what critical patch updates are, essentially it works like this. There are two ways to do it. If you do critical patch updates, as soon as a vulnerability comes out, you patch it right away. You release a patch for it. All your users get to use that patch. You're secured right away. If you don't have that, you release patches periodically. So you might have an exploit out there that's out there for a month and they don't patch it. They only patch it once a month. So that's when you get it. So you would be open to a cyber attack, essentially, if you are using one of these other ones. So we recommend, if you have very tight security settings, this is you're going to probably want to look at one of the Azules. That's what our customers have come to us. That's what they've said they found. We're not cybersecurity experts, so just want to get that out there. But that's been the critical difference we've seen between the different alternatives. So the next thing I would love to know is, how much are you using now? So I'd like to ask the audience, has your organization reviewed where it's using your Java? Because we've had a bunch of organizations we've helped, and they were absolutely shocked. They were thinking, okay, it's on the laptops and it's on the server, and they didn't think about handheld devices. They didn't think about devices in their vehicles, their service technician vehicles. The joke we say is, if you get a card in the mail that sings you happy birthday, it's probably got Java. So if you're going to give me your answer, give it to me now. I appreciate it. But again, if you answer my questions, I will send you the results after the webinar. And you can see what your peers are doing compared to your organization. All right. Thank you very much for your answers. All right. So real quickly, there are different agreements that you might see that is the master agreement for your Java, depending on which version you have. So if you have 7 or 8 or any of the ones before that, you probably have the Oracle Binary Code License Agreement. If you have the post subscription announcement 2019, you're looking at the Oracle Technology Network License Agreement. And finally, if you recently picked up 17 or 19, or probably also 21 at this point, you have the Oracle No Fee Terms and Conditions Agreement. And just so in case you are someone from your legal team is looking at this, make sure you're looking at the right version of the contract, depending on which version of Java you have. So let's talk about what a Java audit looks like. So you're not going to get a call from somebody that says, stop right there, this is a Java audit. No, no, no. They do Java sales inquiries. So what you'll get is a Java salesperson who will call you up. They may or may not have someone from GLAS on the line. That's the Global License Advisory Service. If you aren't familiar with that, they used to be called LMS, which was the License Management Service out of Oracle. So you get a call from a salesperson, and there's somebody who says they're from the license advisory. You are being probed for a Java audit. And what they'll simply do is they'll ask for account of your employees. They already know. I can tell you right now, they've already looked it up. They have data sources. They know roughly how many employees you have. And like I said, they're just going to assume every single person at your organization requires a license for Java. And where do you want to be billed? Who should we bill? Who should we charge for this? Send the invoice to, because that's how it works. They know you're using it. So it's one of those situations where if you get a call, you probably waited a little later than you should have. You definitely should get ahead of this. But beware, they're not going to announce themselves as the Java audit team. So when you're looking at this and you're trying to determine what are my risks of failing an audit, one of the biggest things you want to ask yourself is, can my users upgrade their own version? We've seen organizations that work very, very hard to install all free versions on all of their devices, make sure they don't need licenses. And then within a week, somebody upgrades their Java to a non-free version. And we've all have those users. We all have those users who go, yes, 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 go, 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 update, update, whatever. I got stuff to do. That guy's going to update you right out of compliance if you let him. And in fact, like I said earlier, Java will auto update itself out of compliance if you let it and don't turn it off. And it comes out of the box that way. So again, if you need to know, how do I stop that? Please give us a call after the event and we can help you with that. So here's my big gotcha. So a lot of our people who talk to us, they basically say, oh, I've got a plan. I'm just going to do nothing. I'm going to wait for Oracle to come knocking. If they ever do, they will. If they ever do. And I'm just going to buy a one-year subscription. Then I'll get my act together. We'll move my whole organization off Java. We're just going to pay for it for a year and we don't have to worry about it. Well, that's not a good plan. I'll tell you why. Because Oracle doesn't do one-year contracts. They do 5-year contracts with back pricing all the way to April 2019. So again, if you're planning on getting a 1-year contract, they will charge you an additional 4, we're up to 5 at this point, years of backdating. They'll backdate your price and you will be paying for all that time in between. So if that was your plan, that is not a feasible option. Now, you could do a 3-year plan and then you would get 3 years going forward. But you're still going to get hit for about 50% of your back usage fees. In fact, the only way to not get hit with back usage fees is to go for a 5-year forward subscription plan. So think about the numbers I showed you earlier, times your employee times 5 years. that could be a lot of money for your organization. We've seen it run into the tens and hundreds of millions of dollars. I don't know, hundreds, excuse me, tens of millions of dollars. It's been up there. I'm sure I'm going to get a message from my team in a minute saying, yes, we have seen 100, but I don't want to say it now. I know we've seen a lot. So it could be a huge, huge unexpected cost for your organization. And again, the time to get on this is now. If your plan is to wait until Oracle comes knocking, you will not have a good of an outcome. You have much less options in terms of avoiding that kind of cost than you would if you start working on it now. Okay, so my final question, just bear with me a moment because Zoom is hard. All right, so have you been audited by Java, or maybe are you expect an audit shortly? You know, you've been getting calls, because remember, you might be like the designated person at your organization who is supposed to be the contact person. If you have other Oracle products, they'll call other people besides you. You know, Salesforce pioneered this trick a long time ago, but they'll call around. They'll see what you're using. They'll see what your plans are. They'll probe for additional information. So again, we've seen something about 20%. So if you're an Oracle client, you have other Oracle products, they've done about 20% of those organizations have been hit by an audit. And I can tell you right now too, we can tell you the industries that you need to be very careful if you are one of these industries, because you're first in line. If you are in the financial sector, if you are a large manufacturer of devices of any kind, they know you've got a lot of heavy equipment. And if you are anything to do with the government, so if you are anything government, federal, state, and that includes education institutions. Education institutions are right up there at the front of the line because they think educational organizations are sometimes more disorganized than corporate organizations. And again, they are clearly starting with government and large manufacturers and large financial. When I say financial, that also includes insurance types firms. Probably because they think those are the deep pockets, but that's where it is. Again, thank you for your answers. So if you're in one of those industries I just mentioned, you are going to get audited sooner than later. So what are we going to do for the takeaways? The release, you've probably got some pay version of Java at your organization. Unless you have scrubbed the place from top to bottom, you've got Java hiding somewhere. You haven't really, really scrubbed it. There's long-term and not long-term versions. So don't put a whole bunch of effort into putting in a non-long-term version, because in 6 months, you'll have to do it all over again. You've got alternatives. You don't have to use Java. There are free alternatives. There are paid alternatives. There are ones that may or may not work for your organization. One of the problems we've seen is clients who they go through the whole process of moving off Java, and at the very last minute, their cybersecurity team comes in and goes, whoa, we can't do that. No, we have to use Java. We're only rated. We'll fail our security audit if you take us off Java. So if you're going to plan to move off Java, talk to your cybersecurity team, talk to your legal team, talk to everyone who might be involved in this, because one of them might derail your plans at the last minute. So don't just keep this within like the procurement department, for example. Reach out to your fellow teams there and make sure they're not going to have a problem if you were planning to move off Java. Make sure you're looking at the right agreement if you're trying to figure out what the rules are, because if you're looking at the wrong one, it could easily lead you astray. If you get a proposal from Oracle for Java licensing, review it carefully. You want to review for a whole bunch of terms and conditions to make sure that, if you do purchase the subscriptions, that, that it is in fact what you need. Because if you buy the wrong thing, if you ask Oracle for the wrong thing and buy the wrong thing and then come back and say, hey, wait a minute, I asked you for the wrong thing, Oracle's going to say, too bad, you bought what you bought. So make sure you buy the right thing, and understand what it means to upgrade to a free version or a different version, because a lot of organizations somewhat underestimate the cost, the time involved, the expertise involved, and it's not. They think it's going to be a short, easy fix, and it turns out not to be. So take a look at those things when you're considering Java versus a non-Java alternative. Again, if you have any questions, please put them in the question box, and we'll get to them right here in a minute. So what should you do? Well, do nothing is one option. We don't recommend that. Like I said, Oracle's going to come knocking on your door eventually. They don't leave any stone unturned. If you are an organization of even moderate size, you should expect a Java audit sometime soon. And like I said, I won't say if you're using it, because you are. Unless you specifically pulled it all out, and then you probably wouldn't even be in my webinar, you're probably using it. You got to know your settings, right? Like I said, the Java will update itself out of compliance. It will let a human update itself out of compliance. So make sure you have your update settings correct. Know your alternatives. Like I said, make sure that if you plan on moving to one, everyone at your organization sort of knows about it, approves it, is well informed. You don't want to be stopped at the last minute. But most importantly, get expert help. We would love to help you. There are some teams, some organizations think they can go it alone. Some can. Some have great teams on staff. But we find most do not, because you got to remember, Oracle does this all day, every day. They're experts at finding every little instance where you didn't think of it, in a place you weren't, aware of, in something that's been turned off, sitting on a shelf. And you'd be shocked, how often Oracle finds Java on our clients' computers, not our clients, but other people's, prospects, I will say. And we can help you do the same. We look for Java the same way Oracle does. So people like us, we can go in and assure you, yes, you've got it all. So that's it. Let me get to our questions here and see what we've got. So we've got, okay, there's a bit of a rumor thing. One of my people's giving me the Oracle saying that they might change metrics soon. I don't want to, say that's for sure. So right now, the official policy is it's going to stay as a regular subscription product. So I would say definitely plan ahead with that in mind. Let's see here my questions. I'm just going to answer the first question I always get every time, no matter what. It's a good answer. It's good even if someone here doesn't ask it. What happens if I buy an Oracle product and it already comes with Java? So Java is inside of the Oracle product and I am purchasing. Do I need an additional license? The answer is no. If you're using that one Oracle product, it came with Java, then you do not need to buy an additional Java license from Oracle. So that is something that comes up every time. All right, how do we best determine if a third-party application solutions that use Java include appropriate licensing? I'm going to, my colleague Tim here is writing an answer. By the way, Tim Hegedus is he's answering my questions now in chat. He's the person who put this whole presentation together. So credit to him. He is one of our senior analysts. So if Java is installed as part of WebLogic, I believe that is one of the situations. So if you have Java installed and it's inside of the WebLogic, like the WebLogic came with Java, then you don't need an additional license. Is this webinar going to be recorded? Absolutely. It's going to take us till tomorrow morning to upload it just because it's a big file. But we will probably tomorrow morning, we will send you an email. It's going to have a link to the recording. It's going to have a link to our Java guide that you can download. And that will have all the information in condensed PDF so you don't have to go through the whole webinar. All right. Let's see. If we're post-sales inquiry and pre-audit, how do we start the damage control mitigation? This seems like a predatory process in which it's near impossible to avoid being out of compliance. It is. It's very, very difficult, simply because Java is so ubiquitous and there's so many versions of it, and it's everywhere. So yes, it is difficult, but the answer is to hire someone who looks for Java the same way that Oracle does. So when we do that, so we essentially help you with your systems. We show you where to look, how to look, how to query your different servers and everything else, and find every version. And so, there'd be hundreds, there'd be thousands. You know how many how many machines some of these organizations have. Yeah, you hire someone to look in the same way that Oracle looks, and that's what's important here, because we find that a lot of our clients, where they tried looking on their own before they hired us. And they thought they got it all, and it turns out, no, they didn't. We found tons that they didn't catch, and there's all kinds of different reasons. I'm not a technical expert in that, so I'm not going to get into it. But yes, to answer your question, you would really want to hire someone who would look for Java the same way that Oracle does. We know how to do that. And I had one more question here, some that had gotten answered. How licensable Java versions on virtual server are licensed with the Oracle old metric pre-Jan 2023, per core, per processor, etc. If you can give some color on that, I would be appreciated. All right, and from my expert, Mr. Hegedus, assuming that Oracle does not force you to use the new metric, you can save quite a bit of money staying on the old metric. Oracle might want you to run some scripts, so cleansing the environment is suggested. Also block any downloads or upgrades of Java via the firewall rules. So again, it's tough. It's really tough. If you get a salesperson who tries to tell you, no, you can't use the old metrics again, you can politely but firmly tell them, yes, we can. That's Oracle's policy. Again, it's not that the sales guy's trying to bamboozle you. He's just, misinformed. What about Java bundled with Oracle database installations? And the answer again for Tim is, as per Oracle Doc ID 1557737.1, not to be too specific, Oracle Java for Oracle products does not require separate licensing. And that's what I had, same answers I said before. If the product came with Oracle, you do not need Java. You do not need to purchase additional Java. Same question about the free SQL developer installation. Again, if it came with Java, it comes with Java, then it's already covered. All right, here's a tough one. How do we best determine if third-party application solutions that use Java include appropriate licensing for Java? You would have to ask the third party's development support team. These are the questions you would ask them. Does your solution use Java? If you want to copy this, by the way, this is in the answered question box. Does your solution use Java? If it doesn't, then the remainder of the questions need to be asked. Then you want to know, does your solution use Oracle Java? What version of Java is being used? Do you regularly update the Java binaries, and how? Does your company have a valid in-force embedded software license agreement with Oracle? It's a lot of specific questions. So again, that's going to be in the, we'll include that when we send out the information, just so you have that available to you. And I think we answered every other question here. I think that could be it. Yeah, so that is all of our questions. If you have any additional questions that you didn't think of and you want some guidance on that, you can reach us online. We are at miroconsulting.com. You can email us at info@miroconsulting.com, or you can call us at 732-738-8511, extension 1208. And again, we're going to send this recording around. We're also going to send you a guide. Look for both of those probably tomorrow. We got one more question coming in. It says, and our last question is, do you recommend console being involved in an audit conversation? You can, but this is how I like to explain it. You could sort of fight the situation in two ways. You can fight it from a technical standpoint, or you can fight it from a legal standpoint. And I can tell you right away, fighting it from the way we fight it, which is from a technical standpoint, from a licensing expert standpoint, that is the cheaper way to do it in general. Lawyers are expensive. Court cases can last forever, but definitely bring your legal team in if you're discussing things. Again, that's it. So thank you very much. I hope you have a pleasant day.